Greetings, Boo Believers. Welcome to Deadsville Horror Talk. I'm your host, Ronin James, and I just came out of the theater after seeing Evil Dead Burn. And I'm going to give you my short but sweet first take thoughts on Evil Dead Burn fresh out of the theater. So let me start by saying I am a huge Evil Dead fan of the franchise. The first Evil Dead trilogy is like my holy trinity of horror. I love Sam Raimi's work. I love the original Evil Dead with its straight horror tone. Really loved Evil Dead 2, where they added the horror comedy slapstick elements. And and yeah, Army of Darkness was like the horror adventure medieval epic hero's journey that I never knew I needed until I saw it. and and it's Army of Darkness is probably my favorite. I don't know, either 2 or Army of Darkness. It's really close. But as I said, huge fan of the Evil Dead movies, the original franchise. I did enjoy the remake where they went to the cabin, and then I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise a few years ago. And I did not enjoy Evil Dead Egypt as much. I mean, Lee Cronin's The Mummy as much as I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise. So if that one's not really, and that's a joke. It's not really an Evil Dead movie. I just tried to make a funny. I just wanted to take a shot at Lee Cronin's The Mummy, really, because it was an Evil Dead movie, not The Mummy. Anyway, I digress. Back to Evil Dead Burn, the movie at hand. And yeah, I had pretty high expectations for this because I watched the trailer that features like a oneer of action and chaos that was really good. Stunts, a oneer. Anybody that's not familiar, a oneer is a single take, a consecutive take that does not cut. The camera just moves for an extended period through dialogue or action. In this case, it was action and stunts. And the camera, it stayed on one character. If you've seen the trailer, then you know what I'm talking about. It stays with this one character as there is just chaos going on all around her. And you kind of see the stunt people, getting thrown in and out, yanked out, and smashing into stuff in the background and furniture falling over. It's a really well done, really well organized, really well planned, and really well executed shot. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, it is available I think it's the first teaser that came out for it. Yeah, it really sold me because I saw that and I was like, I recognized right away. About halfway through, I was like, wait, we haven't cut yet. This is a wonder. And sure enough, yeah, just really good job with what we call the cowboy switch, using multiple stuntmen, it seemed like. I have my theories on how they pulled it off. I'm not totally sure, but I do have friends in the industry who told me that, yes, they used multiple stunt doubles for each character, or for certain characters, I should say, so that they could cowboy switch them while the camera was going out of frame. Just swap them out as the one does one stunt, another's ready to go on the other stunt. While the camera, leaves them or they leave frame, then the next one will come in from another position of frame, but he was already preset, just waiting for his cue. So, yeah, fun stuff, really fun stunt stuff. And Sebastian Vanacek, the director, he's done some pretty good stuff. He's kind of, I'd have to look it up exactly what he's done before, but I know I've seen his stuff before, and he's really creative with camera movements. And this one had a lot of creative camera movements in it. I really liked some of the ways they played with perspective and the ways they played with gravity. Let's put that one in there. There was some really cool stuff that they did, rotating the camera to reveal things. Yeah, they did a lot of really good things, really cool stuff with the camera. So direction was really good. I really enjoyed it. And again, stunts are really good. Special effects makeup, it's all practical. There's some really good gore in here, really good prosthetic work. The design of the deados themselves, it's not quite as like old school prosthetics, what we've gotten before. It is kind of like Ellie from Evil Dead Rise, where it's more just like a deterioration, pale skin, the discoloration of the eyes, and just like the battle damage of, being a deado going through, crazy shit, physical, physical stuff, physical gore and, lacerations, all that kind of stuff. So this had plenty of that. There was some digital effects in here too, as well. I will also warn that there is a dog in the movie, and if you are like me, you are going to want to cover your eyes for a scene. I do not handle animal deaths well, but it served a purpose for the story because I get it. No spoilers. I try not to spoil anything in my first takes, but it serves a purpose in the story. It's just, I closed my eyes because I knew it was coming. I've heard other people mention it in reviews from earlier, and as it was coming in the scene, I kind of felt it, and I was just like, yeah, this is it. And I covered my eyes. So you will definitely know when it's coming. And if you're somebody that doesn't want to see animal violence like me, I could take humans getting eviscerated all day long. But the minute you hurt an animal, I'm out. So luckily I knew it was coming. Again, I was kind of pre-warned and covered my eyes so I did not get taken out of the movie like I would if it surprised me and I, kind of saw it happen on screen. So there's that. You are warned. I'm sure you could have gone to doesthedogdie.com and found out as well, or Googled it. Something else that I do, I will Google it, or I will go to doesthedogdie.com, find out if there's an animal death, if I know that an animal is prominently featured in a movie. I didn't realize that an animal was prominently featured in this movie, but I will say this is another like family trauma movie. We just can't escape the family trauma stuff. There was a lot of good in this movie, and even the writing, the way that they worked in the backstory of the Book of the Dead and the Kandarian dagger. And, I really liked a lot of the way that they wove the, the lore, the original, the pre-existing lore of the Evil Dead in with this story here, but still kind of related it. Like this was, yeah, I don't want to give it away, but it was all related to the original story. Let's see. What else should we touch on? It's just me driving home by myself right now, so you will get this wonderful Ronin only first take episode. And yes, in case you haven't listened to these ever before, I'm Deadsville's director, producer, Ronin James. I have been a stuntman and stunt coordinator for over 20 years. I've been in a bunch of Hollywood blockbusters and TV shows. You've seen me get unalived and blown up, shot, beat up, all that fun stuff in plenty of things, I'm sure. But yeah, anything from big budget blockbusters like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Gotham, the old Batman TV show, Netflix The Punisher series. I got to beat up Sylvester Stallone before in Escape Plan 2. Yes, you've seen me here and there. But as a stuntman, it's my job to kind of not be recognized so I can keep getting work. That's the trick. Don't get burned and they can keep reusing you on the show. So you try and hide your face usually. Or you're covered in makeup or in, doubling for somebody else. So again, you're in a mask or hiding your face, turning away from the camera as much as you can. But yes, I love to think that my experience in front of and behind the camera, both as performer and coordinator, brings a little extra insight to the horror podcast realm. So yeah, I like to talk about the stunts and action design, as well as story, character development, all that good stuff. Before I got into stunts, I went to school for filmmaking. So, yes, I understand character development and the hero's journey and the three-act structure of the script. And I understand composition and framing and all that fun stuff that we can discuss. But again, I've had the experience over 20 years in a bunch of stuff on Hollywood sets and tons of low budget independent sets as well. So I can hopefully bring you some extra insight here. And I like talking about the stunts. And yeah, this one had some really good stunts, really good action, really great camera work too. A lot of times the camera work and the stunt work kind of, if they work together, the old school way was you set the camera and everybody just does their thing playing to the lens. Nowadays, cameras move. We have a lot more moving camera and rotating cameras and a lot less stationary shots, quote unquote, on sticks, as they call it. That's when you're on the tripod. There's your insider insight for the day when they're talking. If you're ever on set and you hear somebody say, yeah, I'm going to shoot that on sticks, that means it's going to be shot on a tripod, stationary. So, but yes, nowadays, fight choreography, you have to take in, and stunts, you have to take into account the two people participating actually physically, the stunt people fighting in the fight, and the cameraman, because you want to know what your camera angle is. And you want to make sure that your performers sell to the angle, sell to the lens, and that your director gets the action, gets the impact, and gets the scene that he's looking to get, the shot that he's looking to get. So, yeah, I felt like this one did a really good job of blending the stunt work and the camera work together really well. And the story the story was solid. I enjoyed the story. There were, like I said, some character decisions that I questioned, and it was kind of long. I feel like there was a second ending that was just like 20 minutes longer than it needed to be. We could have just stopped everything at one point, and I was totally happy. But yeah, I get it. They wanted to add on that little thing because, trauma, domestic trauma, domestic blah, blah. I'm not going to spoil it. Family trauma, yada, yada. But, but yeah, I originally, in a video right out of the theater, I said I was going to give it like a 6.5, but leaning kind of towards a 7. I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for Evil Dead Burn because I like that it took the pre-existing lore and built a little on it while having its own story. The characters were they were kind of enjoyable. I mean, for the most part, a lot of them were annoying. I didn't like the family per se. They all had their own annoying quirks. I kind of felt bad for the women who had married into this family. So you'll see what I mean when you see the movie, or if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But yeah, I thought it overall did pretty good. It was a bit long, questionable character choices here and there. I felt like, when I say questionable character choices, I feel like there were times when the narrative, the characters made decisions in order to not necessarily make sense of the narrative or move the plot along, but so that I hate to say this, so that the director and special effects team or stunt team could do something really cool. Does that sound bad? I mean, it's kind of like when they, you want somebody to be in peril, so you're right that the characters separate. Like, it makes no sense for them to separate, but you have to put one of them in the way of danger, and only one at a time. The other one can't see anything happen. So, oh yeah, I'm going to go and look for the breaker box by myself instead of you coming with me. I'm going to leave you standing here. That didn't happen in this movie, but that's my example. In most cliche Hollywood horror movies, they just separate characters just so that they can have a character alone. Well, they didn't do that in this one, but I felt like a couple times they wrote some bad decisions for characters so that they could do something cool, down the line, or, have like a cool action set piece gore piece, blood and gore piece, if that makes sense. So hopefully you get what I'm saying. So yeah, well, but I still enjoyed it a lot, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. The gore was high. The gore was very enjoyable. The stunts were amazing. The stunts, kudos to the stunt team, and the coordinator for the design of a lot of the action. You don't have a lot of kung fu fights and stuff like that, and big, you know, car chases and explosions and all that in horror movies. What you do get and stuff like this is violent chaos. You have deadites who are extremely strong, just throwing these humans all around this house and just destroying stuff. And that's extremely stunt heavy, and it's extremely the way they do it, especially the oneer in about the middle of this, that takes a lot of preparation and choreography, planning, and rehearsals to get the timing right with everybody, the stunt people and the camera team included. So yeah, really just solid job. And that oneer in there wasn't the only one. There were a couple other smaller ones, and there were just some really good, well-designed scenes where there's like action and cool camera movements going on. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I liked it. It really could have been 20 minutes shorter, though. And I will say there's a mid-credit scene and an after-credit scene, so make sure that you stick around. I really like the after-credit scene. I really, really like the after-credit scene. So we'll say there's a cameo. And yes, it didn't quite make sense in the universe, I guess. Scratching my head on how it's possible, but I enjoyed it. So, all right, that's going to do it. That's my first take here on Deadsville Horror Talk for Evil Dead Burn. I'm going to see it again on Saturday with Steph. We're probably going to check it out in 4DX to get the full roller coaster ride experience. And who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind about that extra long ending when I see it the second time. But yeah, I really liked it. Check it out. Go see it in theaters. If you saw it already, leave some comments wherever you are watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, ding the bell on YouTube, all that good stuff. Find Deadsville Horror Talk on all the social medias. And I'm Deadsville Ronin. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those fun places where you get social medias. But I don't do the tweeting or the Xing or any of that kind of stuff. No Snapchatting and no. But the others I'm on YouTube as well. You can find us at Deadsville 13 on YouTube. So until next time, Boo Believers, like I said, let me know your thoughts on Evil Dead Burn and stay spooky.